Yeah, sorry about that. Camera cut out. I'll put you in a little bit better. Okay. There we go. That should be a little bit better. Yeah, you're still on? Good. So let's go look for some sockets in there so I could turn them. Just gonna have to go through all my tools here just to figure out what to do. I have to go through one of these one by one. I need to get organized. I really do. Anyways, let's see if any of these fit into that little hole. Let's see here. Maybe that kind of does. That kind of does, but at the same time, it really doesn't fit quite in there. It's just loose, which I don't like that being loose. It's just doing it by hand now. See if that helps it a little bit. Okay, that might help it a little bit. Let's see if it does. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, I hope you all saw that. So if this is loose, just go ahead and come back here and okay, just come back over here and loosen this in the release position, and then go ahead and tighten that nut, and then you see it's much better now. And then when it tightens, you probably want to position this in a good way, and then tighten it. Now it's on there really good. I'm probably gonna have to test it again now. But now that with the fence kind of extended, it's much wider, as you can see. And so you still gotta work the extension on this. So I think if we loosen this, these should pull out. You guys back in here. There we go. So now I got to figure out how on earth am I going to pull this out. It looks like it's already loose. There we go. And you know, they look like, it feels like it's a part of the miter saw instead of being inserted in loose. So very different from your 10-inch compounding miter saw, where you have to just insert it and screw it on tight. Let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that. Let me see. Where's there it is. So gonna go ahead and tighten that up, and then lock this into place. There we go. It's locked into place. Because what I want to do is I kind of want to tilt it a little bit to see the bottom part. And yeah, so it's attached. There's a screw over here that's going to keep it in place. So this won't come out unless you loosen that screw to have it come out. So it's completely attached. It's detachable, but at the same time, it's a part of the miter saw. So same thing on this side. You probably have to just pull it a little bit to get it going. There we go. And then screw it on tight. And what I like about it is that it looks like you can adjust it. You can adjust the height of it, which is a big difference from the 10-inch compounding miter saw, because it's just fixed. And I don't know how it would ever reach. Just give an example here. So you could take this and just adjust this so that you just do that. Make sure you're focused. I don't know how you would ever be able to. Sorry if you're not quite seeing it, but I'm trying here. Man, they put these on really tight. Can't get them to go. I still haven't figured out what these are for yet. Manuel does not say anything about this when I was looking through it. So of course I guess I'll figure it out somewhere along the line. These could be the feet, possibly, but there's only two. That's which I don't understand. So obviously there's two screws on here. Well, one's a screw and one's okay. There, it's a little different. Interesting. It's a different kind of screw, but anyways, let's get back to this thing. I'm trying to figure out how to loosen this thing without killing myself. So let's see if we can do that somehow. And there we go. There we go. Just need a little leverage. Okay. So there. So now we can match it up. So now we can match it up to the table, or to the main, to the base anyway. And there we go. Anyways, the point is we can adjust it now. That's the point. So it's a little high on this side, so it can be adjusted. There you go. So you got some extra space to adjust this as it's coming out, which is going to be a big difference in which it's a big difference. It really is, compared to a 10-inch compounding miter saw. So this is a huge improvement in my opinion. A big increase in value. So okay, now that I've figured that out, let's do the real test. And the real test is to see if it's straight, if it's square. Because there's no point in doing this if it's not. So I guess we're going to take our combination square and see what we can do with it. Oh yeah, by the way, I did find the laser. And the laser, basically this wire here is the laser. So this is the power cord. Power comes in here, goes through right here, down here to the other side, and there you go. There's the laser right here. And I guess we're gonna find out if that laser, how well that laser is. See right there? There's the laser. I don't know if you can see that. I'm gonna have to take you out the holster, but so I can make sure you see that. 'Cause I'm sure that's what you all wanted to see. So, anyways, so that's I found it. Found a darn thing. Of course, Manuel, Manuel's not very helpful in that regard. So let me see. There you go. So that's the laser right there. If you see it. So there it is, right there. That's the laser. So the laser's right under there. So now that we found the laser, excellent. So now we got to make sure that this is level straight to the base of this. So as you saw in my last episode, I'm gonna have to go through that whole thing again, where we're gonna see if this is even straight. So we're gonna take a straight edge. We're gonna see if this is even straight. So I'm probably gonna take this down here. Let that just fall, and I should probably take it in. Let me see if they're touching on the other side. So I should really take it off, but I wonder if it's touching. It is touching. That's gonna affect that's gonna affect it, but well, I think that's alright, because the pieces you have, this is a 4-inch level, not 4-inch, 4-foot level. You're probably going to be cutting something of this size with this. I mean, you could cut it smaller, but that's fine. If it wants to rest on that, that's fine. Because I feel it feels pretty solid on this as well. I think it's pretty solid. The longer the piece, the better. Okay. Put it up against the fence and see if there's any jiggling in the fence. There's a slight jiggle. Just a slight though, not a lot. It's on this side too. Or it depends which way you push it. See that? I don't know if you're able to see that. Let me see. See that little gap? So I guess it's going to depend on which side you want to feed into. See that gap? Gap gets bigger. If I close the gap over here gets bigger. So if I close this gap on this side, there's a gap here. So okay, so it's not straight, but that's alright, because I guess you wouldn't expect it to be straight. What I usually do is I guess it depends how you feed into it. What I did with the 10-inch was I knew I was going to feed going this way, right? So I'm basically feeding it going in this way. So everything I'm going to do is from here. Overall, it's not that bad. I would say it's 1 degree, 1.5 degree off. Yeah, there's some rocking. Yeah, there's some rocking going on. So it's still off. I don't know if I can do anything about that, but if there's any adjustments I can make. Doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like, well, I don't think there's any adjustments I can make with this, if that's the case. So I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Oh well. Oh well, that's life. At least I know now. So I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna basically be, because I'm right-handed, and the handle's, of course, on the right side. I'm gonna hold with my left hand right here, and that's where I'm gonna base most of my cuts here. And so I'm gonna base it how square the blade is in relation to the fence, in relation to the base, to get a square cut, if that makes sense. I hope that made sense. So anyways, let's get a square and let's do this. So where's my square? Okay, here's my square. So we're going to use this square here to do this here. Okay. Alright, so okay, so we can move the level out of the way here. And well, okay, we've already did that whole shebang thing. Alright, so now gotta make sure it's tight. Screwed on tight, there we go. Okay. So let's see here. I want it in relation to the fence. Well, not too close to the fence. I still want to. I want to see how level it is up to the base. So I wish this would just lock into place, but I guess there's a safety feature that won't quite allow that. So I'm wondering if there's some kind of, if I could stick a screw in there and that would keep it in place. You got to be careful because this wire could get caught up in the whole thing if you push it too much, because it's hitting it. Okay, well, I guess I need my other hand. So back in the holster you guys go. I'll try to do my best to keep you in the loop here. Of course, if you've seen my other videos, you kind of already know have a good idea what to do. So, anyways, let's do this here. So, it's a big blade. Let's see how close this thing is. That's pretty darn close. Be careful. There's some wiggle room here. Oh, sorry. There's some wiggle room here. So, let me do something real quick. Let me get that out of the way. There's a little space in here. So, okay, there we go. There we go. Now I can move it somewhat freely now. Okay. Let's get that blade out of the way here. Make sure it's not plugged in. That's pretty darn close as is. That's pretty darn close. That is very, very close. I don't know if you're able to see all that, but that is very close. I may not have to mess with it. I mean, it's off by like barely half a degree. If that's some kind of hex wrench that I would have to turn on that. Let's see if I bring it down a little bit lower. I should just really let it freely just stand and see what happens here. It's just barely off. Let me try to adjust this one more time. So, you know, when I think if you have to set it to 0, because it's a double bevel, you might have to set it, just take a square and just set it to 0 every time you make that square cut, because there is a little play here, but at the same time, the play is so small that the play is so small, but yet it's still there. Okay. Alright, there is a little bit of play in this thing. Actually, no, there isn't. So there is a it's off as you get closer to the fence, just by barely half a degree. So, but as you move away from the fence, it actually is pretty right on. And I don't know if you can do anything about that, because I don't want to spend all I'm splitting hairs. It's out of the box, the way it comes, it's amazing. I'm just splitting hairs because that's just the way I am. So okay, great. So if that's right on, and it looks like it is, because it's just dead on right at 0 right there. Let's see what the 45 looks like, because if that's on, most likely the 45 is dead on as well. And so let me get my little triangle. And so far I'm impressed with this I'm gonna have to give it like super duper excellent rating, just because how well it just came out of the box, literally, and very little adjusting that I had to do on my part. A little bit. Let's see if it does. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. I hope you all saw that. So if this is loose, just go ahead and come back here and okay, just come back over here and loosen this in the release position, and then go ahead and tighten that nut, and then you see it's much better now. And then when it tightens, you probably want to position this in a good way, and then tighten. And now it's on there really good. I'm gonna have to loose. There we go. And you know, they look like, it feels like it's a part of the miter saw instead of being inserted in loose. So very different from your 10-inch compounding miter saw, where you have to just insert it and screw it on tight. Let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that. Let me see. Where's there it is. So gonna go ahead and tighten that up, and then lock this into place. Let's see here. Maybe that kind of does. That kind of does. But at the same time, it really doesn't fit quite in there. It's just loose, which I don't like that being loose. It's just doing it by hand now. See if that helps it a little bit. Okay, that might help it. Yeah, sorry about that. Camera cut out. I'll put you in a little bit better. Okay, there we go. That should be a little bit better. Yeah, you're still on? Good. So let's go look for some sockets in there so I could turn them. Just gonna have to go through all my tools here just to figure out what to do. I have to go through one of these one by one. I need to get organized. I really do. Anyways, let's see if any of these fit into that little hole. I'm probably gonna have to test it again now. But now that with the fence kind of extended, it's much wider, as you can see. And so you still gotta work the extension on this. So I think if we loosen this, these should pull out. Okay. Sorry about that. You guys back in here. There we go. So now I got to figure out how on earth am I going to pull this out. It looks like it's already loose.